Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I'm your host, Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts, Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, Christopher G. Mohr, and myself. We'll take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we are reviewing MALUM, a title you cannot forget or remember.
Or can
All right,
no.
Joining me this week are my co-hosts, starting off with Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
I'm fabulous. I don't have any late night shifts, so
Ha ha!
yeah.
Nicely
Okay, I'm done. No,
Nicely done.
no, it wasn't.
Nice.
But that's
No,
sweet of you.
yes.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the support.
There you go. Also joined this week is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr. How you doing, sir?
I'm hungry for bacon.
Bacon.
Oh my God!
Talk about MALUM.
Malum.
Yeah.
Bad
Squeal
yum.
like a pig, boy.
Bad yum. Okay. Yeah.
Deliverance from evil.
Muy mal yum. All right. Let's get what we're gonna do. I'm just getting ready to roll into it. I was going to jump ahead, but what we're going to do is we're going to review this film. We're going to start off with our first impressions. Those first impressions will be spoiler-free. Why are we staring at Christopher? And
Why not?
why not? Exactly.
So MALUMmy.
Mal yummy.
Yeah, totally.
I'll keep them going. I'll keep them going.
Oh man! So after
I
those
like it.
first impressions, we're going to get into discussions. We'll get into some spoilers. This film has them, and then we'll wrap things up with our score and favorite scene. The score will be 1 to 5, yes. And then we hope you'll leave some comments. Yeah, and if you like this review, we have many others on the site, so we hope you enjoy both that review and the other reviews. I'm really screwing this up, but I'm going to keep going. Please hit the like and subscribe button and share with a friend. It's easy and free to do, and every click will help us find more horror fans like yourself.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yes.
Totally.
All right, let's look at the card and get things going, shall we? Look at that poster. Eyeballs staring at you. MALUM from Welcome Villain, a new distributing company available in theaters on March 31st, 2023. The synopsis is, on a search to uncover the mysterious circumstances surrounding her father's death, a newly appointed police officer, Jessica Loren, is assigned to the last shift in a decommissioned police station where a notoriously vicious cult saw their demise years later. All rundown sentences aside, she soon finds herself barraged by terrifying paranormal events, and in the process is taking on a journey during which she learns the shocking truth behind her family's entanglement with a demented occult leader. Directed by Anthony DeBlasi, written by Anthony DeBlasi and Scott Poyle, something like that. Sorry. Stars Jessica Sula, Candace Koch, Cheney Morrow, Clark Wolf, Morgan Lennon, Valerie Liu, Monroe Klein, Eric Olson, Sam Brooks, and many others. I'm skipping to the chase here. All right, let's get into it. Let's find out what our first impressions were. If I read more names, it's only more an invitation to screw them up. So, yeah, Christopher G. Mohr, what was your first impression of MALUM?
This is one of those films to where, because a lot of times I can look at certain films and look at certain elements that I really like, and there's other elements I don't like, but you end up really just, going after those elements that you really like. And I think a lot of the production design, a lot of the creation of the demon type entities are actually very creepy. This film made me jump like 6 or 7 times, and I was like, where I was yelling at my TV, stop it. And I think there are elements I don't like. Like I think the whole found footage stuff looks like somebody trying to make found footage. There's even one part where they switch camera angles, which is, I'm sorry. That's stupid. But I think some of the motivations of the main character are kind of wonky. But I think what interests me most is when the demon elements kind of show up, and there's some really kind of shocking moments. There's some really great setup for scares. I mean, and you know me as a filmmaker, if I can watch a film like, wow, I'm gonna steal how they set up shots.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
there are scare moments that there was even one that was back to back. It scared me twice. I was like, what is happening here? And I was like, that kind of stuff makes up for the stuff that's not so good, you know. And you know, because sometimes stylistically you can do really great stuff, the story may be idiotic or characters are stupid, and that this has that at parts. And not to say that aren't some kind of wonky effect stuff too. We'll get into Spoilerville when my description of the main demon, but overall, I think this had some really great scares, some really creepy sort of creature type effects. It almost, without getting spoilery, it almost has like a Hellraiser vibe at times. And I think that's the main selling point. It's almost without being spoilery, it's almost like Midsommar in a police station. Yeah, I really enjoyed the scary elements, and I think it's one of the few films in a few years that's really kind of creeped me out in parts and kind of scared me in parts. And so I think they did a really great job on that. Now, the other stuff with the characters and other things, that was like, it felt like motivations and even like the drunk mother part and all these things, it felt like something out of a different type of movie. But overall, I did enjoy the horror parts, and I think they really leaned in hard with that, to where I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, because it's a little bit of what was it? I can't remember the film, but anyway, I enjoyed this scary horror stuff.
Scary horror stuff, which is good for a scary horror film.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sounds like they hit the mark. All right, Crystal Cleveland, what was your first impression of MALUM?
So when this started out, I wasn't liking it. I wasn't enjoying it. I was confused. I didn't understand any of the characters' motivations. However, as the movie progressed, I found myself totally pulled in, and I was hooked. Like I just want those out there to know that if you're gonna watch this, just give it some time. It's confusing. Yeah. I mean, you literally face the world's worst cop. Like, the main character is the world's worst cop ever.
Redefines the term rookie. That's for sure.
Yeah. So you just kind of have it's you ask a lot of questions, and as to why this is happening. Why is she there alone? Why is this the way that it is? And if you can let that go, you'll enjoy this movie way more. Mm-hmm. There is a ton of special effects in this, and a ton of good special effects. And there's even there are some quick little kind of, they're not jump scares, because I guess they are, but they didn't really use this. I appreciate that they didn't overdo it with the sound, because typically with those, that's what bothers me with those jump scares. They didn't overdo that. It was just things kind of coming at you, and I dug it. And I liked how they explained some of those later as well, because you see some things and you may not understand it, but maybe something else happens and it explains why that happens. Let me be clear, this movie doesn't make sense overall, but it doesn't not make sense as well. So that's a thing. Normally, I'm really bothered by an unreliable narrator, but in this case, I'm not. It all seemed to serve a purpose, and I just really enjoyed the special effects. So I think that's a lot of what made it so good for me. I think, and actually, the acting was great. The lead actress specifically was fantastic, even though didn't understand her motivations at multiple points throughout the film. I loved her. Like, I couldn't take my eyes off. She was beautiful, and she was fabulous. I mean, there was some other acting, maybe a mom, but other than that, like, overall, I would definitely recommend this movie. I liked it a lot, and I would actually watch it again, probably
nice.
multiple times. I bet I could probably find more things about it every time I watched it.
Good
So,
things or bad things?
no, I could probably understand more of the story. I think
Okay,
there's a
there you
lot
go.
to this whole cult thing that they have going on. I think I missed a lot because I just think there's a lot of pieces to it.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, because it is a mystery that our lead character is trying to unravel. She's there on the last night of this decommissioned police station that she's watching over, and she wants to watch over because her father killed himself a few years back, and she wanted to secretly get into the research about it and look up stuff and get into his locked. Why his is only the
Yeah.
one locked? But anyway, all that aside, yeah, you mentioned some things that bothered me more than I think bothered you guys, and it's not an unreliable narrator because our lead isn't unreliable. It's everything else that happens around her. The story is being told in an unreliable way, and it could definitely challenge your patience at times. It pays off with the effects and the scares. There's a couple of ghosties that pop into view from all different directions that will get you jumping and saying bad words out loud. But in the end, I think the story elements, the narrative itself undid it for me. I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad film, because I think it will find an audience, and a lot of people will really enjoy it. But for me, it might have I might have blown a fuse or two watching this. It might be
That's interesting.
Might be my age, but I in the end, I don't. I'm gonna have a hard time recommending it on the story, but as an experience, I think there's a lot of people that watch it. And I agree with you, Crystal, that watching it again might put some of the pieces together. Well, I mean, the pieces come together, but it's just, I don't know, characters pop in and out, and at some point, I guess you suppose that everybody's not really, I don't know. We'll get into it. We have to actually get into the spoilers, but it's just, it does things that kind of break its own rules about who's there and who isn't, who's coming in and who isn't, who's on the phone and who isn't. And at the end of the day, I think my poor little mind snapped, and I just crumbled and just watched it in those days.
Yeah.
I went, okay, just happened. I give up. But like you said, it didn't make sense, but yet it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of the basic element, I mean, it's almost like, now that we're in spoiler.
Well, let's get into the spoilers.
Yeah. I kind of figured, okay, she's just going to end up like her dad. And I just thought, although I will say that again, I didn't like the found footage stuff. That was kind of cheesy. And then I think that opening police station scene just felt like something kind of like an 80s.
See, and that's why at the beginning I was like,
oh. But then like when that, when those two people are talking at the drive, the shooting range, like, oh crap, I came out of nowhere. And I was like, that's cool. And so then it's like, when the girl shows up, I was like, I'm not exactly. So she's going to go through that training so she could, instead of doing research at the library, asking people, she went through all that training just so that she could just, find out about her dad, and hope there's stuff in that empty police station. And I think that's what kind of, but I agree with you. Like, there's like moments I'm kind of like when those two cops show up and then they just disappear. And then I'm like, where did they go? And she's not even caring whether it's like, I'm like, I don't know what to believe anymore, And then
you got the bum, you've got the you've got the pig.
I kind of hope by the end that she kind of like reads something and figures something out to fight back at these evil people. But
that's what I thought maybe.
But then it just ended up being like, and I guess the other film I was thinking of, Event Horizon. It felt like a
I
police
loved
station
Event
Horizon by that. Because I think for me it ended up being like, I don't understand what's going here, but that's a cool shot. There's that like when because then there's like why would they keep the gun the guy used to kill? But then like when he what I loved about let me get into like the jump scares, okay? Because this is like excited me so much, and I think I probably won't watch all this movie again, but I'll watch those specific scenes again because of just the way they're well crafted. Because there's just scenes where it has more to do with editing and taking your normal perception of what you're supposed to see. So like you cut away, you cut back, and then you don't expect the guy to have his head like blown apart or things like that. Like, whoa. And even when something's going to happen, like the scene where she's in the shooting range and those things are moving forward, and then when she rips that thing, something, I was like, but then the image of what's behind it is like, oh crap, that scared the crap out of me. And even though I knew something was going to be behind it, and there's scenes like that where it goes, or even like I call it the clicker scene, because there's one part where the girl's crawling, and then she's got like the face blown apart or chopped apart or whatever. But I just love how those formulated. And so those moments that were weird and gory and creepy, like the guy with the peg bone leg, and there was a lot of stuff I hadn't really, there had stuff I hadn't seen before. Like when the woman's leading the two cops out by like intestine collars or whatever. I was like,
they were like leashes.
So batshit crazy. Like I love
I liked it too.
And they'd have like the little things over their face, and you see their eye, and their eye was almost like somebody somebody shining a light on your eye, and they're I don't know, there's like these elements where they really pulled out the creepiness of scenes that I really enjoyed. And so, which is, you have that kind of thing like, oh man, but the story doesn't make any, I don't think I could probably watch this a million times. It's still not going to make any sense. I'm still unclear as to what happened, but getting to those creepy, gory, crazy scenes is what that's like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then we got like, now she's making another stupid decision again. Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah,
another stupid decision. Okay, so I have a big question for you. So like when they revealed who was on the phone every time she was calling, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it turned out it wasn't who she thought it was, but the person also said that the 4 people got kidnapped again, right?
Right.
So, but did they?
Yeah, because they killed him.
But did they?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe they did.
I mean, we saw that happen, but then they all did,
Doc, the truth is any of it real? Yeah. Okay, so at that point, it's like, well, yes, they did. If you're going to go based on the hallucinations, or are they hallucinations? We don't know.
Black mold. Maybe it was black mold. Maybe that stuff happened, and she just went crazy because of black mold.
Don't ever come in again.
He said, "Don't go into the freaking holding." I really, the truth is, okay. See, the only thing that does bother me about this movie is that none of this would happen in any way, shape, or form. It just wouldn't. They wouldn't have some sort of holding cell that has this issue. They would have it completely warded off if it really was true that there was hallucinate. Like, none of this would happen. Right. Okay? So that's why I said you're going to enjoy the movie if you could suspend those questions and suspend reality. It's fine. And I had to get to that point. Finally, I was like, I just let go, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I realized at the beginning, I meant to say it's more hereditary in a police station, not Midsommar. But I guess the Midsommar is cultish as well. But
it totally.
But I mean, I think that's the main thing. It's like by the end, you're like, I have no idea what happened, especially when she wakes up.
I like the guy that played John Malum, the cult leader. He had quite a interesting presence on screen. I wish we had more of him in the present storyline as opposed to in the flashbacks, but I guess you get what you get, because he reminded me of other actor. But anyway, I thought he was really good. I liked him as well.
Also the hanging girl scene was ridiculous.
Which one?
Oh, do you mean the one where she gets beheaded? I liked it. In her eyeball.
Yes.
Yeah, when her hand is in that, or I was like that.
I liked it. That was
That's
actually one of my
crazy.
favorite scenes. Like
Yeah.
I loved
That
it.
was
I was
so
like, oh,
crazy.
that's
That-
written right here.
That scene alone is enough to recommend it just to watch it. And that anytime they're in the holding cell, something creepy happens.
Oh, that one scene where she's in that room with the homeless guy,
Yeah.
and she thinks he's holding the flashlight. It's like that is really a kind of a brilliant idea
And
there.
then all the
And then this stuff, yeah,
They fall
happens.
down.
Like, whoa,
I was like,
where'd that come from? That's what I loved about it. It's like I don't know. I think that's the thing is you just have these random things just happen, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean I don't know. I think, but there's other things that are kind of stupid. I don't know, like her driving around like a 5-year-old, like and all these crazy things happening.
Well, okay, basically the dude told her leave the pig there, but she just couldn't do it. That's why I'm like,
You're just asking for it,
I
and then
just
I
can't.
and then I just kept
can't with
thinking, well,
that.
maybe because it had that weird symbol on its back, she's invited evil into the building, and I was like overthinking all these elements of it.
yeah.
And then
But
I was thinking, I was thinking maybe this feels like maybe like 13 Ghosts as well. Maybe if everybody who dies in the police station, but I don't know.
I was like, dude, I was like, that's so bad. Like, it's so, like, she doesn't listen. She doesn't do what she's told. You know what, though? That's what I said. If you don't come to this movie for the story, because if you do, you will not
No.
like the movie. You'll be like,
Yeah.
there's so many holes, there's so many issues, but that's not why I like the film. I like the film because I think it's acted well by her, and
I agree with
it's got some cool effects and cool creatures and some cool baddies. Like, I just enjoyed it for that. And there's a lot of it. Like, it gets to a point where it's like basically just
one after another, yeah.
yeah. So
You do have to turn off your brain, basically.
Yep.
Don't try to.
You'll short
Using-
circuit if you don't.
Yeah,
I tell you.
you'll short circuit like Doc, and yeah, you just you don't try to figure out logic or common sense or reality,
Or
because the
narrative.
movie has none of that. It's just crazy, and you don't. I mean, even the whole time, I'm like, I'm not even sure any of this is real, but at the same time, I just love these crazy moments.
and I'm totally with you. Here's the reality. Her father could have just flipped a switch at some point and went off, and then maybe that's her too, and just we don't
she
know.
maybe have in her DNA have like some form
Yeah.
of schizophrenia or something, and
Yeah.
But again, there's a lot of things you can read into it, and maybe they did it on purpose. Maybe it's
Yeah.
very David Lynchian. You can just create your own reasoning for why things happen.
Mhm.
Although I will say, let me just point this out. I hadn't pointed out early. There is when you get to see the final demon, it's like a starfish head.
I loved it.
Oh.
I loved it.
That was the only thing. I was
I
like, this looks,
loved it.
It was hilarious.
this looks
Detached too. That was
Really? But I
It's-
liked it.
It's
Okay,
very
I'm
Hellraiser.
easy.
It's very Hellraiser,
Yes.
but the way it's
Mhm.
formed, it looked like he just had a starfish face.
It's a
Well,
pentagram.
It's supposed to be a
I
pentagram.
loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
It looks like a
It
starfish.
looked like a
head.
starfish.
I'm
Now
sorry.
you said it.
The stupid starfish.
Yeah, dang it, Christopher. Now
yeah,
I'm never
yeah.
gonna
What
be
is
able to
he,
unthink that.
Aquaman's villain? I don't know. So
Fudge.
that was
Starro. Starro.
Go in there
yeah,
and paint it pink and call it Patrick.
yeah. That was the only thing that I didn't like. I think all the other
Shoot.
stuff I liked, the effects and stuff, but I don't know. But again, I appreciate the hell out of all the practical stuff, because there's like
Mhm.
there's literally the whole thing of blood falls on her at one point.
Oh,
There's
that's
like
awesome.
I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't see. I mean, maybe there's a few. I didn't really see much CGI, and this is all. I think all the practical gore and practical effects and the production design of the demons and the creepy people,
Mhm.
brilliant. And I think that's the standout part of this that you should come away with.
Yeah.
But again, don't come in here thinking this is going to be like Shakespeare, because it's not.
No,
I
it's
don't think
not.
it's trying to be. So
Well, it's
No.
or just for it to make it doesn't. Yeah.
yeah,
just
it's
don't-
not pretentious. That's a good
You-
thing.
Oh no.
You'll turn into the main character. You'll be crazy by then. If you try to create any kind of rationalization
true.
for why things
Yeah,
are
yeah.
happening.
Yep.
Yep. I'm
True.
just going to be more like the first cop that was there and just said, "Don't call me."
Turn around. I didn't say walk away. I just said turn around. I'm like, What? No,
I know.
no.
It's like,
What is this?
who knows? Who knows? All right, let's wrap this up and give our score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene. This should be fun. It'll be a bloody scene, I'm sure, for each of us. Christopher, start us off.
This film is worth watching just for the practical effects and the production design stuff. I think this is a real standout when it comes to that. Story-wise, not so much. I'll give this, you know what? I'll give it a 3.75. I did enjoy the gore and the practical effects a lot, and the scares. The scares are so well crafted that I'm definitely going to be replicating it in my own way at some point.
There you go.
As for favorite scene, there's a lot of great moments in this. But I just have to say, yeah, I think the shooting range scene.
Oh, nice. Okay.
The build up and stuff, and then when it comes up and she's like, pulls it down, there's like the weird ass creature. I was like, oh, it kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies and scared the crap out of me. So I'll have to say that specific scene.
Good deal. Crystal, what was your score 1 to 5 and your favorite scene?
I'm also going to give it a 3.75. I think that's very appropriate. Like, honestly, if the story had made more sense, damn, this movie would kill it.
It would have been higher,
yeah. I know I mentioned, the hanging, but I'm going to go with something different because it made me feel a little bit more, and that is the mortuary scene where she's in the body bag.
Okay.
I don't like those. I mean, well, I do like them because they actually make me feel something. It's like I felt, that claustrophobia. That whole scene was very creepy and weird, and it actually was very well done. There wasn't a ton of special effects in that scene, which is funny considering we've been talking about them, but it still was very well done and spoopy. Mm-hmm.
Spoopy. I like that. That's a good scene. All right. I'm gonna
back to me again. Am I rating it for you?
How you doing? I'm gonna let Christopher do this. No, me, I'll do it. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I thought you guys were actually going to give it higher scores. And I'm like, oh, well, it's not really that much different. I definitely think this movie has an audience to be found. There's going to be a lot of people that really enjoy it. For the effects, I think Dave would love it if he was able to join us tonight. Hope he feels better. He would definitely praise the effects because the effects are worth the price of admission alone. Just what they accomplish. That or the pig. The pig is pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, the pig is I'll give
the pig anytime anything about the pig or what they say about the pig. What the pig might have done is
kind
of upsetting. But okay, since you guys didn't pick it, I will pick the hanging scene where the hand snaps and the eyeball pops and then the head falls off and the blood just sprays all over because that was a great shot. Just how it led up to that, and then she's just covered in blood for the rest of the movie. So that was it had like an Evil Dead-ish vibe to it.
Yeah,
not quite in the urgency of Evil Dead, the way it's chaotic, but it still had that feel to it in a good way, in a very, very good way. So I will go with that scene. If it's not that, I might pick what the pig did to the homeless guy. That really got me. But so those things work, and then the story comes along.
Had a human drumstick.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that actually.
All right, so this is going to be in theaters. Oh my God, at the end of the month, and then look for it on VOD and streaming, or it's on, something like that, VOD and streaming. You'll find it, and when you find it, watch it, and let us know what you think about it down below. I'd love to hear what our good audience thinks.
I think the gore scenes would be great to see on a big screen. So
yeah.
I think again, just turn your brain off.
Yeah,
which is something I usually don't like to recommend, but sometimes it's just necessary, isn't it?
Yep.
All right. Well, Christopher, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for having us.
Very enjoyable.
All right.
It was a pleasure.
A pleasure. Let's say goodnight. Bacon's cooking. Bacon's cooking.
Ugh.
MALUM.